Thank you, thank you. That was our honor song for Chief Blue Star Eagle. He speaks from the heart, driven by spirit, and in a good way, speaks of his life and the people included in it, which is all of us. So without further ado, I would like to have our good friend, Chief Blue Star Eagle, Sherwin Zephyr.
Oh, Pidama, drum for that song. I want to say this to everybody in this room and everybody all across this planet. When we say Makasitomnia, means around the planet and beyond. That's a powerful word, Makasitomnia. Nape chante washte nape chuzapo. I greet you all with a hearty handshake. Welcome you to this ceremony. We have 3-day ceremony going on here, and as a Sundance chief, it's always required of us to always turn in a circle, because your energy is moving all the time. So I would like to ask for everybody to turn to your right, do a full circle. We're going to keep things moving in this room. So with that, you can have a seat. And we want to always remember as we're moving, when you do that turn, it makes you feel a little different, and because it keeps things within you moving. Ioyampa, this sacred light, this energy that we work with. Wadaka, first and foremost, what this ceremony is all about, this wokiksuye, this remembrance, these memories that we have, and where they were. If they're in here, if they're buried, you want to bring them up, all of that holiness, all that sacredness. That's what the breathing is. You breathe and you keep it moving. And as sun dancers, we always have this in our mouth. And so the breathing is in rhythm with the drum. Your heartbeat will also get in unison with the drum while it's playing. So these kinds of simple little teachings, I would like to pass them on to you. Always, when you're going to enter some place or even leave, in Sundance at the entrances, we'll turn. we'll either leave something here or take something with us. And so that turning, that swirling of light and energy is what we really want to focus on. And it's very simple. You know, we have a lot of speakers here, a lot of healers, lots of teachers that have so much information that you're going to download, you know, and you're going to leave with it from here, and you're going to be, you know, you're going to be vibrating, you can be excited, and your atoms are going to be spinning. And that's what happens when you get all this excitement. Your atoms start spinning faster and faster and faster. It's like some of the guys who are getting ready to go to Super Bowl or something, you know, I can't wait, you know, anything. Or some of you go to, you know, whatever you enjoy. You get excited about something. Your atoms start spinning faster and faster. And then one of the ceremonies that we have is Hambadecha, just crying for vision. And to cry, you know, from your heart, and it from the water comes from your eyes through your heart. You know, this to cry for this vision is very, very sacred, and you cannot do that unless you have love first. Waraka, you must have love first. And that's what this whole 3 days is about. To learn how to use the power of this love, to heal with it, to use your hands to make the energy swirl from your hands to another person, to lay like the Reiki, the laying of hands. And in our Sundance ways, we don't touch people with our hands unless we're going to pierce them. But we use our fans, we use sage, you know, because we're passing on light and energy. And so you don't want to interrupt, you know, touch them, poking them, or anything like that. It's just kind of shocks them, and it disturbs them a little bit. And they might not like that. And so that's why we fan. We'll use feathers, you know, we'll use sage, we'll use stone. You know, we do some doctoring with stones. So I don't touch people with my hands. I use those other elements, those other energies. And some of them, it absorbs whatever it is. The stone can take a lot. It's one of the very few entities on this planet that can hold fire within it like it does. We can't do it like that. And in our ceremonies, we use the stone, we use the tree, the sacred tree, and all the medicines that go around. We have circles within circles within circles within circles. And everybody that's in there is always turning. Everybody's always turning. And the movement of those dancers, when they line up, there's a hook in there. And what that hook is changing direction in your life. You go this way. You turn, you come back, and then you line up this way. Every time you move, you do that. Turn to the directions. You change a little bit every day in your mind, your heart, your body, and soul. So these kinds of simple little movements and gestures, they adjust you, they align you, they help you with what we call iakaptapi, ascension, or moving on upward direction. Iakaptapi, wakayapi, all of those things that are sacred that take you there. Simple things, and you're going to leave here with them. You're going to take them out there. You're going to share them. You're going to teach with them. You're going to heal yourself and others. You're going to know what to do. And some of the artwork that I have over here on the table, it's and one of them with the white buffalo calf pipe. The white buffalo calf, it has above it, there are what we call chandi pakshas. They're tobacco ties in a rainbow colors. And that's for personal growth. The rainbow is about personal things, the other directions, black, red, yellow, white. Those are the 4 cardinal directions. The blue representing the heavens and the green representing Mother Earth. So if you're going to be making prayer ties with tobacco, to take a pinch and put it in a little, like a 2-inch piece of cloth, whatever the color you're going to use, you're going to find out that this energy that you put in there, this thought and this prayer, and I know that some teachers in the other conferences or ceremonies, they did teach people how to do that. And then you tie them up on a tree. My wife and I, we at home, we always make ties, walutas and pakshas, and we tie them on a tree. And after a while, now that all of the leaves fell off the tree, all of them prayers are on there, and it looks like a Christmas tree, you know. It's colorful, you know. So it does beautify things, but it also reminds you of your prayer, reminds you of what your intention was. And so we always look and we remember to continue to pray. And these are very simple, you know, teachings, but a lot of people have difficult time with some of them. I know I had a workshop one time, and a lady said, "I don't know how to love." I couldn't believe that, but I guess, you know, she went through a difficult time in her life. And I've heard somebody say too, use these 2 words back to back, right and wrong. There's no wrong. Only lessons to be learned. It's that simple. And I always use this word simple because that's how my wife and I live. We live simple. We live on the earth at home. We all walk the land. We have fruit trees, walnuts, plums, apple trees, cherry trees, all around in our yard, and so we have food there. We have a buffalo herd just a little ways away from our house that we can see from our bedroom. We have an eagle nest south of our house, down by the river, because we live on a hill overlooking the Missouri River. It's always beautiful to see those. And coming here, you know, I knew that this was going to be very special because my wife and I, on the way here, we saw eagle on this side of the river, saw eagle on the other side of the river. And so we also saw a deer on that side of the river by our house, and we've crossed the river, saw another deer over there. So we've brought something very special. And then I come here and I see the deer. You know, the elk, you know, they woke me up this morning. We got here at 3 in the morning, and everything was closed down. So luckily our seats lay down in the car. So I opened my window and I can hear all the elk bugling. It was beautiful. See some coyotes in the distance, and I was right at home. Right at home. So I felt good coming, and I'm glad, you know, that. There's others I've been hearing too that didn't have such a smooth ride coming here. You know, I ran over an elk on the way, got into a car accident, and so those kinds of things. Those are animal nations like that. They're giveaway nations. You know, they give themselves to us. You know, we don't need to feel sorry, but be grateful when something like that happens, because they don't just do that by accident. You know, back home, my cousin had dropped his robe, and he was, you know, we were at his wake, and my other cousin was sitting there next to my father, and he was a deacon in the Catholic Church, and he said, "Uncle," he said, "I want to tell you something." He said, "I never told this to anybody before, but he said, no, I was hitchhiking, and it was getting windy and cold and dark. So he said, I seen that fence, and there was tall grass growing along the fence line. So I crawled over there, and I laid down with using the grass, the tall grass, as a windbreak. So I was laying there, and I started feeling around. He said, pretty soon I felt something furry next to him. He was behind him. He was feeling it, and it was a deer. And so the deer moved up closer to him, and it started using his body heat to keep him warm. And pretty soon my cousin, he said, it's really getting cold. The wind is picking up. And through telepathy, this deer said, there's a house over here, an old abandoned house. He said, I'll take you there to get you out of the wind. And so the deer stood up, and he followed him in the dark. He took him over to that house. And when he got there was other deer there. There was 2 other deer there. And they started telepathically speaking to the deer nation. And the deer told him, said, get down, there's a truck coming, there's some men in there. Said they have guns and they're drinking alcohol. He said they'll hurt us. And so all those deer, they laid down in that house around my cousin. And he said after that truck came in that yard, it was spinning around in the yard, and then it left. And the deer said, you'll be fine here. So we got to go. Those men might come back again. So they left him, their blessing. And that was really something coming from a Catholic deacon, for him to say, hey, I heard the deer talk to me, so those things are very real. You hear stories, those are exactly how they happen. And my father, he's one to tell stories, and he'll never change it word for word, verbatim. He will say the same story with the same words. He leaves nothing out, and he never adds anything. So they ask him, Dad, how come you always say exactly the same thing? How can you do that? He said, well, Spirit told me that. And if I change it, then it's not the same, it's not true. He said, I can't change it. That's the way they told me to say it. So those simple little things, they're very valuable. Very, very valuable. To also say this, that waraka, this love that we have is, you can give it all away and you never run out. You can give it all to somebody, and just like that, you got it all, you're all filled up again. You can never run out of it. And so I just want to say to everybody in this room and everybody out in the world watching and listening, love generously. Love generously. Love generously. You will never run out of it. And part of that too is caring deeply. What helps you to use it, to care so much, to love so much that you would give yourself, like my brother spoke of Emmanuel, to love so much, to give himself. And for the animal nations, to love so much, to give themselves so that we would live. Care deeply. And always speak kindly. Everywhere you go, because those kind words, what carries the love from sound and vibration. Like my brother mentioned, you say a word, what you speak formulates images, and it creates motion. It moves things. Words are very powerful. Very, very powerful. Speak kindly. That's a very, very powerful kind of medicine. That's your medicine. You all have that. Use it to help heal. Because those words, they can hurt somebody, confuse them, but don't say the words unless you're asked to say them. Because that if you just say things to people who aren't asking, they might not be ready for that. And it'll set them back instead of bring them forward. So that part is very important that you understand. Ioyampa, this light, this energy that you have. And it's the love behind it, the intention behind it that makes things move. Like the mother, the father, when the baby falls down and gets hurt, right away your hands go on the baby. Where you hurt, you start using your hands automatically, naturally. So be aware of those things. And I've been, telling my wife, and some of you in this room also have that ability to see auras and lights and things. To me, it looks like smoke. When it moving around, I always see it. Even when I'm by myself, it looks like smoke is moving around me in broad daylight. It's my smoking. I'm on fire or something. But I see them moving. But I also see it in a distance. Where things are moving, and we need to realize that those. We can't have any fear, otherwise we won't grow, we won't ascend. No doubt and no fear. Those two little teachings will prevent you from growing, prevent you from moving forward. Simple. No doubt in yourself, no doubt in your abilities that you have, no doubt in the powers that be. Don't have any doubt in what you think and what you feel. Don't have doubt in your own prayer. And don't repeat yourself, because you're doubting yourself if you do that. Why do you keep praying for the same thing over and over and over and over? Why? You only need to say it once. No doubt. Don't doubt yourself. If you prayed over here to help, in a certain area, certain region, certain part of the country, or another family, another community, that's different. But if they ask you to come over here to this community and do that over here, then you can repeat yourself or pray a little bit differently. And that's what also helps you to grow. So look at the circumstances, look at what's around you. Feel it out. How am I going to make this prayer? Feel it out from here. You can close your eyes, and because when you take away the distraction, we might call it, of sight, then you're really making yourself use your inner awareness, that awakening. It gets sharper. It's very strong, what's inside you, but you got to pay more attention to it. That's what this whole 3 days is about, to help realize what you have and also know how to use it better. A lot of us already know, we're aware of things, but now we got to just keep getting better, because the Mother Earth and all of creation needs our help. We've done a lot of damage here on Mother Earth, and we need to clean it up. That's what these symbols are all about. They're healing, they're doctoring symbols. And, we need to use them. Like Barb and Margaret, they were talking about. Where they go, they use them. They put them in the earth. And at home in our ceremonies, we do the same. The medicine man, or whoever is running the ceremony, will put symbols and markings on the earth. And they activate them. And there are some parts of earth that they won't even touch with human flesh. They put it on a big piece of leather, and to flatten it, they'll use a small drum. They'll set it on there, and they'll move it, and it'll smooth it out. And then they'll use a stick to draw the designs in it, but they won't touch it with their human hand. And when they get done, they'll just fold that rawhide up and pour it back into its container. So some things, these sacred, this Mother Earth, very sacred. that small bit of earth, is they relish it, they revere it to be so sacred that they won't touch it. So some of those simple little things like